Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of a new series on the channel on the F1 24 game. This is our driver career mode for this game. I didn't really record any of our F2 season as a little bit of a practice for myself to acclimatise myself with this game, and another way I've been acclimatising myself to the game and getting myself prepped for this driver series to try and make sure that it is as good as possible and I am prepared as possible for my new career as a driver in Formula 1. Please make sure to go and check out my co-op career mode that I've also been filming alongside Zveski. Anyways, let's get on to this new season. So we absolutely dominated our Formula 2 season, winning pretty much nearly every single race. I was just super consistent towards the front, and then when one of the AI made a mistake, I was there toward the latter end of the season. There was a few more mistakes starting to creep in for myself, resulting in starting to get more P2s and P3s rather than wins, but the fastest lap points were still racking up and getting poles in Formula 2 also get your bonus points, so they were starting to rack up quite nicely as well for ourselves in the championship. It was a record-breaking season for ourselves, actually claiming the championship by the time we got to Silverstone. So I had the thing well and truly wrapped up and put myself in the best position possible to really try and get myself into a Formula 1 seat, and I was driving with the Red Bull Driver Academy in the hope I could perform well enough to get myself at the very least in the RB for this season. But unfortunately, as it is in real life, there just wasn't any seats available to me in any of the Red Bull cars, and in the end I just had to go for what was available. And so in the end I have signed a 1-year deal with Sauber. So they are currently the worst team on the grid in the R&D. So hopefully I can try and learn alongside my teammate Valtteri Bottas. So we have come in and replaced Zhou Guanyu, who is departing the team after having, honestly, not a very promising career. He made a lot of good starts in his debut season and unfortunately just wasn't able to continue that run of form, and in the end has resulted in himself losing his seat to myself. And hopefully we can learn alongside Valtteri Bottas and try and push this team a bit further up. So our goals starting off in this season is just going to be every now and again make it into Q2. I don't think the car's going to have pace for a Q3 or anything like that. So Q2 would be absolute wicked goal to get in our qualifying sessions and in the race. If we can get us towards the mid-pack, that would be wicked. And even better, the odd point might be something that we could try and aim for. But less of me talking, let's start going into this series. Well, there we have it. The season is now in full swing and there is no stopping it now. We are ready to go for our team Sauber for this season alongside Valtteri Bottas. And going into this first race weekend in Bahrain, it's going to be a full 24-round calendar season as well, just to add to the intensity for Season 1. And going into Bahrain, we've also got a couple of nice upgrades coming in, a durability upgrade and some engine upgrades as well. So hopefully those can get us towards the front a bit more in Bahrain. And when I mean the front, I mean honestly just somewhere that is not last at this stage in this career. So hopefully we can get all of that down packed and we'll go on to qualifying. And here we are now in qualifying, coming around the final corner here in Bahrain to finish our first flying lap of this qualifying one session, and it's going to put us P8 at the moment, ahead of the Alpine of Pierre Gasly and and just behind Alex Albon. It's a 129.8 as now we come around to finish our second flying lap here. we did do a cooldown and then another fast lap, and it's going to be a 2/10 improvement, a 129.5, and unfortunately on our third run, didn't actually improve, so that is us knocked out. Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Max Verstappen, your top three here in the first qualifying session. Is a 3/10th gap between Lando and Carlos, so the McLaren is looking pretty good around here, or maybe the others are just holding back that little bit, but knocked out along with us is Logan Sargent, Nico Hulkenberg, ourselves, P18, Alex Albon, and our teammate Valtteri Bottas sits last position.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1, and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into that tight left-hander of turn 10. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Fernando Alonso completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Norris, Hamilton, Russell, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Tsunoda, Ocon, Gasly, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Lightning, Albon, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me here today in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. Now, Ant, as much as I like testing, and I do love testing, and I've really enjoyed the build-up here and all the speculation, I really want to see some action. And finally today, we get some proper action on the track.
You're going to definitely see action, Crofty. Everyone's G'd up for this one. They've done the testing, like you say. The drivers will be revving inside, heart rates going, trying to burst out their chest at this moment. With that anticipation, who's got the speed? We're going to learn now, once and for all.
Now, the time is here for our strategy choice. It's a bit of an odd strategy. We're being given the choice of a 1-stop or a 3-stop, so it makes me wonder if maybe a 2-stop it could be possible around here, but at the moment, I think I want to try and do something a bit different. I want to try and go for the 1-stop. A soft to a hard stint is a bit different, but hopefully we can make it work, as now we get ourselves ready for this Bahrain Grand Prix. It's 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and we are along the way for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It was a very long hold, and it's proving to be a little bit difficult of a start. A little bit of wheel spin there in about 3rd or 4th gear there, and which is made us not get such a good launch going down into turn 1. We're sending it up the inside. We're currently 3 wide with our teammate and Kevin Magnussen, and we get a little bit of floor damage from the contact there with Magnussen as well. So hopefully that's not going to be causing us too much issues further down in this race, as now we'll continue to go side by side, and we're actually going to send it down the inside of Alex Albon as well. He was caught napping a bit there, just sitting in the train, going into turn 4 there, as now we're continuing to go side by side down the hill through this fast S section, going into the hairpin of turn 7 here, and we're going to send it down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo as well. A tiny little bit of contact there as we go for the apex and wash a little bit wide there. But that is going to be us up into P15. So we've had a pretty good start there. And now we're going to send it down the inside at turn 11 of Logan Sargent as well. So absolute brilliant opportunistic moves that we're doing at the moment, which we have to do. We have to be opportunistic. We have to try and make every point count here in this career mode of driving such a bad car at this point in time. Hopefully we can upgrade it further down the season as Lewis Hamilton gets past his teammate, and that's for P6. So Mercedes swapping positions there, and crucially when it comes to the pit stop phase, that will matter. Lewis Hamilton will have the first choice of pit stops, but it doesn't really matter at this stage because now George Russell is under attack from Sergio Perez. So Perez on a charge through the field here, trying to go down the inside at the final corner of George Russell, and now he's going to get the DRS. Remember, DRS on this year's game is now activated on to the second lap. So DRS well and truly activated by this point in time. Usually in the old games, it's now, by now, definitely activated, as Perez is still trying to get this move done. Going through turn 3 now, he's going to finally get it done. But that definitely took him a little bit longer than he wanted to, and now he's lost the DRS to Lewis Hamilton. And now the George Russell is now under attack from Oscar Piastri. The Australian is sent it down the inside at turn 4. Is he going to get the move done? It looks like George Russell's got the better exit, and he has. And so that is going to be George Russell maintaining P8, but he is vulnerable. He is very vulnerable, and as I said, vulnerable. Here comes Oscar Piastri once again, this time trying to go around the outside of the final corner here to get this move completed. And it is going to be Oscar Piastri up into P8 now. George Russell is falling down as there are a few moves now going down into turn 1. Now this is Fernando Alonso up into P2 here. He's trying to get past the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. And that is Alonso into P2 now. And to help him, DRS also to defend the position there. Yuki Tsunoda making the move on George Russell as now. So could George possibly be outside of the points very soon? It looks like he will be. Is that Stroll? Yeah, that's Stroll. Stroll, out of all people, has now managed to get himself past George Russell as well. So he is struggling a lot, and here we are. We've now caught up to the back of this train, as now Mark is also trying to tell us that our engine is absolutely cooking. So we need to try and cool down this motor, or as we're going to be looking at bigger issues. But I just don't know how I could be trying to cool down my motor, because if I pull out of this slipstream, I am done for. I am not going to be able to make anything work of this race. So especially during this part of the lap, I can't really do anything to try and help the engine cool down. It's now chucked right up behind the back of Pierre Gasly there. And before I even really have a moment to pull out of the slipstream to try and cool down the engine's already too hot. And so we failed our first objective of the season. And now fast forwarding to lap 6 here, Ocon and Russell are now battling it out. This is for P11, P12. Gasly is lurking behind, waiting to pounce. And there goes Pierre Gasly. They're going to go 3 wide. It's an Alpine sandwich for George Russell. They're going to continue going 3 wide into turn 4. We're going to tuck it right down on the bottom and try and get a better exit. And we've managed to get both Gasly and George Russell. George Russell, the big loser out of that. As we take a look at the replay here on board with Pierre Gasly, he's going to go to the inside. And he's going to get squeezed up onto the curb. And he's actually going to hook his wheel on the side pod there of George Russell, slowing them both down, allowing me to get a little bit of a better exit there, and actually getting past the both of them, and now looking on board here with George Russell to see what kind of happens. So Ocon kind of squeezed him. He got squeezed into Gasly. Gasly just had nowhere to go, which allowed me to then just swoop in and take a couple of 2 free positions there. As now we take a look here at Oscar Piastri. He's on the move, continuing to try and get through the field here. He's looking to try and get past Sergio Perez, who we were saying before looked like he was on a charge as well. So now Oscar Piastri up into P7. As now Max Verstappen is coming in for a very early pit stop here. Could the AI possibly be on a 2-stop in this race? If depending on what time Max Verstappen goes on, he's going on to a set of mediums. So I don't think the mediums will last the next, let's say, 20 laps of this Grand Prix. So the AI may be on a 2-stop here. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see how that goes. But we're going to commit to our 1-stop as Daniel Ricciardo gets by us. But we actually break early there. We're trying to be smart here and let ourselves get the DRS to try and stick with Ricciardo here as our pit window now opens, and a lot more people have come into the pit. So now we find ourselves battling for a P2 on track at the moment. But in the end, that's not going to really matter, as now Max Verstappen catches us up. He's on the medium tyres, the 2 Hasses behind us on the hard. So a lot of different strategies at the moment playing out, but we're going to come in now for our one and only pit stop of this Grand Prix. It's lap 11, and we're going to be coming in for the hard set of tyres here to take us to the checkered flag, hopefully, as now we get an optimal turn in, and now it's up to the boys and girls here at the Sauber pit crew to see what's going on. And no, it's a slow pit stop. It's a slow pit stop. It's not really going to make too much of a difference because we're not really fighting for any points, but it's still the things we don't want to be happening. So at least this game's got some parallels to real life, with Kick Sauber struggling with their pit stops in real life, as now we've come out behind the 2 Williams. But crucially ahead of our teammate. As long as we can beat our teammate this season, that's going to be a good season for ourselves. There's actually a yellow flag behind us, and our teammate on the timing there is actually losing quite a bit of time there as well. So we take a look on board with Valtteri Bottas. Oh, it's a bit of a clumsy spin for our teammate as he spins on the exit of turn 1 there. As now back on board with Lando Norris here. He's trying to make his way through the field of all the people who haven't stopped yet, being the 2 Hasses at this stage inside the top 5, but yet to stop. So that's Norris now up into P4, as now Kevin Magnussen's under attack from Carlos Sainz, who has made a pit stop already. And at this point in time, I reckon it is only the 2 Hasses yet to make a pit stop in this Grand Prix. So Carlos Sainz, he's actually struggling a little bit. I thought he was going to get the move done a little bit quicker than Carlos Sainz actually is on the hard tyre. So maybe is Carlos Sainz trying to do a 1-stop as well. We'll have to try and see how this one plays out later into the race. But that is Carlos Sainz up into P4, trying to chase down his good friend Lando Norris, who currently sits P3. And for ourselves here, we've now got Nico Hulkenberg, who's recently come in for a pit stop, and he's now on a fresh set of soft tyres. So he's definitely on a 2-stop. He's not going to take these soft tyres to the end. So at least some of the field has to be on a 2-stop, as in the background, the other Haas of Kevin Magnussen comes into the pits now. And this is going to be Carlos Sainz trying to make a move on Lando Norris. Is he going to be able to get it done to get himself up onto the podium? He's going to have to battle his good friend here. He's going to go around the outside, which turns to the inside. And that is going to be him using DRS to get up into P3. So now we do a bit of an order check here. So it's going to be Max Verstappen, Alonso, and Sainz. That's your top 3 at the moment. So that's the podium. Then it's Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez. Stroll is doing wicked in that Aston Martin in P8. Oscar Piastri and Yuki Tsunoda rounds out the point. So a couple of names you don't usually see inside the top 10. Then it's the 2 Alpines of Gasly and Ocon, Ricciardo, the 2 Williams of Albon, Sargent, Nico Hulkenberg, and myself in P17. So we're quite struggling with our race pace at this point in time. But Kevin Magnussen, George Russell's also really struggling. So I wonder if he's been held up somewhere, possibly with a little bit of damage, and he had to get a front wing replaced in his stop, because he's P19, Valtteri Bottas P20, and Lewis Hamilton is out of this Grand Prix, as we've recently just been given our next objective, which is to get our ERS up to 67.1%. So hopefully we can do that, because there is a little bit of a section where I'm turning off the ERS, because I don't think I'm going to be needing it too much. As we take a look here at Lewis Hamilton, how did he DNF? He's lost power on the exit of turn 11 here, and that is an expired engine in the first race of the season. So that's going to be detrimental to his season if he's going to be having to take quite a few engine penalties at this point in time, as Oscar Piastri gets himself past Stroll there, and that's going to put himself up into P7. Is now back on board with ourselves. We're struggling with turn 11. The car keeps washing wide. I can't really slow down too much more, as then I'm just going to be dive bombed. So I have to brake that a little bit later, which the front end just isn't gripping up on these hard tyres. So I'm a little bit struggling here as Kevin Magnussen gets back by us. But again, we're on used hard tyres. These tyres have been on for 4 or 5 laps now, and he's on the fresh soft, so he's obviously going to get by us as Yuki Tsunoda gets himself past Strollers now. Fernando Alonso is coming in for another stop, so it's pretty much confirmed now. Most of the field, I would imagine, is on a 2-stop, as he's going to come in and get off those soft compound tyres. He's done about a 6 or 7 lap stint on these ones, and I would imagine he's going to be taking hard tyres to the end, and there it is, hard tyres to the end of this Grand Prix, and that is going to put him down the order just outside of the top 10. At the moment, it's now a red flag has come out, so that's going to be absolutely terrible for Fernando Alonso, and for ourselves. This is an opportunity to try and redeem ourselves. The table is set once again, and how did this red flag come out? We're on board here with Max Verstappen, and he's going to be going into the hairpin, and it's another lazy spin. So Valtteri did the same thing, and here comes Lando Norris, and he's going to, he's going to hit Max Verstappen, causing a bit of a traffic jam. So we're going to have to see how that affects those two guys' races. But for ourselves, we can't really do too much. I was trying to see if I can't switch my hards to a medium, because I'm thinking maybe a medium would be better. A bit more pace on a medium tyre, but I don't think I've got any mediums to use. So we're going to have to stick with our currently used hard tyres, as now we're back underway, and it's a really bad start for ourselves. The car breaks into wheel spin, so we upshift, and then the car bogs down because we've upshifted too early, and so we've been overtaken by everyone. But look at all this space on the outside, and we're going to use it, and we're going to get ourselves up into P13. Can we make ourselves any further up? Yeah, P12. Absolute wicked start. We used the space on the outside, which everyone left wide open, and so that's put us well and truly back up there, and possibly in the fight for points. We're going to look around the outside of Alex Albon. Can we get it done for P11? No, we can't. Alex Albon's going to cut us off there as we now head down the fast S's here. Could we possibly try and make another move down into the hairpin like we did on the opening lap? We go for it. Can we get ourselves into P11? Yes, we can. We're going to squeeze him out on the exit to try and make sure that he can't come back at us, but we're too far back to try and make a dive down into turn 11 there on Kevin Magnussen to get ourselves into the points. But there is going to be a change for the lead here. Carlos Sainz looking down the inside of Max Verstappen. So even though Verstappen caused the red flag, he is super lucky with the ruling that he was able to start from pole position once again. So Verstappen kind of given a get-out-of-jail-free card here as Carlos Sainz takes the lead, and he's now under attack from Charles Leclerc. Could this be a Ferrari 1-2 going on to lap 20 here of the Grand Prix with only 9 laps to go? Verstappen gets the better exit, and he's going to keep the position for now, and it's going to be a Ferrari 1-3. But here comes Charles Leclerc once again trying to go down the inside of Max Verstappen, going onto the final corner. Is he going to be able to get DRS? That's going to be the next thing. It looks like Max Verstappen's managed to get a better exit, and he has, so Charles Leclerc doesn't get the move done. Verstappen, he opens up his DRS. He's got the DRS. Charles Leclerc's kind of stranded now with nowhere to go. Lando Norris has managed to get by him. Could Lando get himself up into P2 past Max Verstappen as well? They're side by side into turn 1. The other Red Bull and the other McLaren also side by side. Oscar Piastri and Sergio Perez going at it. And is it going to be Lando Norris getting the move done? It looks like he has. Piastri is still all over the back of Sergio Perez. The Ferrari of Charles Leclerc also managed to get through Max Verstappen. Verstappen all of a sudden now finds himself P4 and now under attack from his teammate Sergio Perez. And here comes Sergio Perez now around the outside of Max Verstappen at the final corner. Is he going to be able to get the move done? We've seen from previous moves the outside gets the better traction on the exit. And it looks like Perez is going to get it done, and he's going to open up his DRS as well. And now here comes the McLaren of Oscar Piastri, and he's going to try and get the both of them. Could Piastri get both Red Bulls here? Down the main straight here in Bahrain. He's going to go to the inside of turn 1, outside of turn 2, which gives him the inside for turn 3, and he is going to get the move done. Oscar Piastri up into 4th place as now the 2 Red Bulls are going at it as well, and Yuki Tsunoda is in this battle as well. 3 Red Bull cars essentially battling it out for the 5th position here on the road. Yuki Tsunoda not getting a Red Bull seat anytime soon in this F1 world, and he is banging on the door to Helmut Marko and Christian Horner to say, hey, I need this seat. As now back on board with ourselves, we need to look after these tyres. They're starting to get pretty worn now. We've been on them since lap 11, and we've still got 7 laps with this Grand Prix to go, and we let Daniel Ricciardo by to try and give ourselves some DRS to see if he can't drag us to the back of this massive battle pack here. As Yuki Tsunoda gets himself now past Max Verstappen, and so does Lance Stroll. So is Verstappen fading in the back end of this Grand Prix? He is now finding himself P8. He was leading only a few laps ago, and he now finds himself P10. As now Kevin Magnussen. Where did Magnussen and Gasly come from? They've managed to get himself back past Max Verstappen as well. Verstappen now battling Alonso, Ocon, Gasly. It's a big train of just battles at the moment as Stroll is trying to get himself past Yuki Tsunoda here. Is he going to get the job done, or is Tsunoda going to be able to get himself up into P6? It looks like Stroll has managed to keep the position, but here comes Gasly now trying to get down the inside of Tsunoda here to get himself up into 8th position. But is Tsunoda going to be able to hold it? He does, and in the back room there, they're battling away still. And that's going to be Ocon and Alonso battling it out. Alonso trying to recover as many positions as he can. He got stitched over by the timing of that red flag. He'd only just come in for his pit stop, so he restarted this race outside the top 10, and he now finds himself back in the points, sitting P10 behind Max Verstappen. So he's going to be trying to chase after Max, who seems to be struggling at the moment, as now we've caught up to the back of one of the trains that's been battling away, which is the back of George Russell. So are we able to try and get ourselves up into P14? It will be wicked if we can. We're going to send it down the inside, very late braking onto a fast corner here, and we're going to get the move done, and hopefully we can try and stay within DRS of Alex Albon and keep ourselves moving forward in this train. As Gasly and Tsunoda now go side by side into turn 1, who is going to keep the position here? They continue to go side by side. I think Tsunoda may just get this, and with DRS, and he does. Tsunoda's going to keep the position for now, as on the very next lap, here comes Pierre Gasly. He's coming back at Yuki Tsunoda, trying to get this P7 away from the Japanese driver here into turn 1, and he's going to get the move done pretty easily here, as now we look forward there, and Sergio Perez has managed to get past Oscar Piastri to get himself up into 4th position. So Perez on a charge here, trying to recover as many points as they can for Red Bull Racing, with Verstappen struggling. George Russell is trying to get back past us desperately. We're still just within DRS of Alex Albon, which is trying to hopefully try and help us a little bit, but George Russell's so much more straight line speed than us, so we're going to try and squeeze him to the inside to try and compromise his racing line just any bit at all to try and give ourselves some sort of slight advantage here. But we're not going to be able to get the traction down quite nicely enough to keep the position. So back inside the slipstream of George Russell, we're going to try and send it for a dive bomb into turn 4, but we've gone too deep, and George Russell is going to get the better exit, and he's going to get back by us. That is such an embarrassing move from ourselves, really showing how much of a rookie we truly are now on board here with George Russell, and we go sailing past. And George, using that experience he's got from the last few seasons, managing to get the move back done on us. As Oscar Piastri is now sending it down the inside here of Sergio Perez, so he's not taking, sitting P5 too lightly. He wants to get that P4. He wants to try and see if he can't catch up for a podium. But it looks like it's maybe just a little bit too much, too late. In the background, they're going 3 wide. Verstappen, Alonso, Tsunoda, all going 3 wide there. And it looks like it's going to be Verstappen that comes out on top here, sitting P8 as Carlos Sainz rounds the final corner. He's going to come to the checkered flag to claim victory here in Bahrain. And that is going to be a very welcome victory for the Tifosi, for ourselves. Unfortunately, it's not what we want.
That it was going to be his day, and what a day it was. Carlos Sainz wins.
It's always great to kick off the season with a race victory. You hit the ground running, and it's really good for your confidence as well moving forward. It's so important to set off on the right footing, and that's exactly what they've been able to achieve today.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Well, there we have it for the Bahrain Grand Prix here in Season 1. It's Carlos Sainz's 3rd career win in Formula 1, and that puts him equal 59th on the all-time win list, so he's slowly moving his way up that list. We were battling for most of that race, but unfortunately just couldn't really get to the front of the battles to try and get ourselves anywhere close to the points. And unfortunately, we're a bit further down than where we would hopefully want to be, considering we had that good start. And the general race pace for ourselves isn't really there, and the tyres just absolutely fell off a cliff. So we take a look at the rest of the top 10. We've got Sergio Perez, Oscar Piastri, a strong race from Stroll actually in P6 as well, and a strong race from Gasly in P7 as well for the Alpine team there. A shocker for Verstappen down in P8. Alonso shafted down the order, unfortunately, due to that red flag, so he finds himself P9, and Yuki Tsunoda gets points for himself. And for ourselves, P17 in the end, behind our teammate. He finished P15. We're hoping to try and get both him and Nico Hülkenberg there in the dying stages, but unfortunately just couldn't make it, and Hamilton was the only non-finisher in this race. And the Drivers' Championship is going to be as is for the top 10 in the classifications, but Ferrari leads for the Constructors by 9 points ahead of McLaren. Red Bull sit 3rd, 26 points behind, so they're already a fair bit behind. And Sauber, we find ourselves 40 points behind, sitting 9th in the standings. And at the moment, for our teammate rivalry with Valtteri, we're actually drawing with him, so it's not too shabby of a race weekend. Experience, racecraft, awareness all go up. We lose a little bit of race pace there. Our experience up to level 71, and overall rating has gone up as well just slightly, and our recognition there also stays at 48%. Our manufacturing expert, we managed to do a little bit there with him, so slowly improving. We're starting from scratch here. We're the rookie, so it's going to be a long road into the future. But if you did enjoy this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. See you later.